Hello and welcome to Spirit Touched. We're still talking about grace. Grace is also a fountain. Some call Romans 3 the heart of the gospel. It only takes a moment to believe. That fountain springs up from his well of everlasting life. Have a drink from the fountain that never shall run dry. One of the things that's so amazing about this song of grace is that Newton was taking a long, hard, honest look at himself and being truthful about what he saw. That's what grace helps us do. There's power in grace. It's what finds us when we get lost or stray off the path. We find this power in the story of the prodigal son. Why? Because it could very well be our story. Throughout our life, this story in Luke 15 changes. When he wrote the song, Newton saw himself as the prodigal. Now, take a closer look at the center of the story. Yes, the forgiving dad is mentioned 12 times in 20 verses. Leaving out the dad takes away the joy and the hope of the story. Luke 15:11 through 12. The dad is humiliated because his youngest son has no respect for him or his part of the family inheritance. Deuteronomy 21:17. Where does grace come in this story? When the dad gives the youngest his portion, his heart was broken, but he gave it anyway. The youngest could have been shunned for his action, but by the family and the community. This dad didn't do that. Instead, he showed disciplined love. It's the kind that has no strings attached and no conditions. It's the kind that leaves the door wide open to be hurt. Why? Because it knows that's the only way to grow hearts of humble obedience. The youngest son separated himself from his family. Luke 15:13 through 16 tells us what he got in return. Verse 15 through 19 tells what happens next. He came to himself. Does that mean he was sorry or just hungry? Verse 16 brings him to his lowest point where he finally surrenders, but his heart is not yet contrite. Verse 20 through 21 shows us who has the compassion. Grace arrives with the greeting of the dad. This is when the son shows through. Here's a question from Dr. E.V. Hill. What do you have when you have Jesus? My answer is everything. What is yours? Now, let's look at Romans 5 for Paul's answer. Before fears can be let go, you have to be afraid. Once you get into the circle of evil, it often becomes a vicious cycle that becomes harder to escape as time goes by until they find that treasure we know as grace. There are 7 wonders about this grace, so let's take a look at them. One is a parchment. Romans 5:1 tells us what's written on it. Justified, declared righteous or not guilty, and your name is there. You see, our justification was done a done deal when Jesus died on that cross. Galatians 1:21 and 22 is where our sermon that passes all understanding comes from. Number 2 is a gold key, Romans 5:2a. It's the key to this amazing grace. It's this key that opens the door to our home in heaven. It's what gives us that right standing with God. Once you are standing in that grace, you can't fall out of it. Number 3 is a music box, Romans 5:2b. It places a song of hope for the future, where we find the promise of glory to come, 2 Corinthians 10:17 and Galatians 1:27. These are reasons for us to shagayanoth, or make wild, exuberant praises. Number 4 is a cocoon, Romans 5:3 and 4. With that glory of number 3 comes trials and tests along the way. Those are what change us, that bring us new strength, known as perseverance. Our character starts to get better. Then new confidence comes, and that's where hope comes from. What Paul got from all his many trials is Philippians 1:21. Grace not only gets us through those trials, it's our reward, Zechariah 13:9, and Job 23:10. One trait of character is integrity, James 1:2 through 4. Endurance helps us lose our fear. The hope destroys cynicism, but to make it through these fires, we have to trust God. That's how we get to Romans 8:18. Number 5 is a battle of performance called enrichment. It's the fragrance of God's love. John 3:16 opens the bottle. This is the love that flows out of us and into others as we minister to them. The Holy Spirit, because it's how it does direct its flow. Number 6 is a treasure map, Romans 5:9 through 10. This map shows two things: our past and the future, in the middle of a red cross that says, "You are here." On one side, because they are written in invisible ink, is his sins start to fade. On the other side, his future comes into focus. Know that wherever you go, the Red Cross goes along to shelter and empower you. However, this map is just a promise of the path ahead and with our final destination. This map is in our hearts, and it overshadows everything we do, giving us his authority and a place in his kingdom. Number 7 is a trumpet, Romans 5:11. It's to help us rejoice and to give us joy. Sheep will hear us rejoicing and come to see why. It will make them want these treasures too. We will find even more joy in sharing with them. It's also a call to worship and praise the giver of these treasures. These are some Very interesting concepts. I hope that, like me, you will pray, Lord, help me to get a hold of them. Or maybe we should pray, help them get a hold of me. You may send your prayer request to heanswerstwo@gmail.com.